Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be finishing up this sketchbook spread with some blue ink and a dip pen, which I absolutely love dip pens, honestly. They're one of my favorite art supplies. They're so awesome and you always have a sharp edge. So yeah, I almost wish that I had recorded the beginning of this spread, but I just wasn't thinking. Which is a shame because I was so locked in when I was drawing that hawk on the right. But you know, it happens. And I'm definitely gonna make more stuff with dip pens, so I'll remember to record in the future. But yeah, right here, I decided to draw a bunch of things from references I have saved. And this here is I believe it's a Japanese tanto knife. And it has a really intricate design on it that I just wanted to replicate. It's really gorgeous, honestly, because I'm a huge nerd for weapons that look really beautiful as well as look cool. Anything with a good design is just so fun. I have a bunch of references saved of just cool weapon designs for inspiration, honestly, for when I design like weapons in a fantasy story, because you know, there's nothing better than a main character with a cool ass sword, okay? But yeah, the dip pen is so smooth, and this paper holds up really well with it as well, because dip pens can kind of tend to tear up paper depending on what kind of nib you use. This is like a moleskin, it's a moleskin book, and yeah, it holds up really well. I end up using two dip pens, or two nibs on the dip pens. So there's this smaller nib and then the larger nib, which I was using before, just to get the detail in for some of the lines. Also, if I'm incorrect about this being a tanto knife, I am so sorry. I did look up like the differences between the weapons, because there's a katana and then there's like the wakizashi, I believe. I hope I'm saying it right. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. So yeah, there's the katana and the wakizashi, which is like the short sword, and then I believe the smallest one is the tanto knife, which is this one. But yeah, I also I used the brush as you saw. I watered down some of the ink and then painted in areas that I wanted to be not so dark but still have a solid blue color, and I think it turned out really nice. I love it. Here I am using it again to just shade in some of the blade so that it's not completely white and to give more attention to the parts that I want to be shiny. And I think I succeeded in giving it pretty good definition. And then next I'm drawing in the sheath of the blade. I don't know if it's called something different for this style of blade, or if it's like the sheath, if it's called the sheath for all manner of blades. I really am not sure, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, that's what this part is. It's the sheath that would encase the blade if you were to put it back in its case. The sheath also had some really nice designs that matched the hilt of the blade, so that's what I'm drawing in now. Like flowers and insects. They're mostly just dragonflies on it, and then the flowers and then some leaves that kind of like encircle the entire piece. My hands were also so shaky for some reason when I was drawing this. I don't know why. Maybe I was over caffeinated when I was drawing this. I really don't remember, but I do remember thinking like, man, I'm shaking a lot more than usual. Because when I drew the hawk, I was completely just in the flow. Like my hands were not shaky. I think you can kind of see the difference. Maybe not, but yeah, either way, I had a fun time drawing this, and I like how it filled out the empty space in this spread. I think it looks really good, and the whole thing being blue is just, it's really satisfying to me. I love doing that. Like, I like doing a whole spread with just like pens or dip pens, and then making it either one solid color for everything. I like making it the same color for everything, or using the same art supply but in only a couple different colors, which I have one like that in this book as well, that I'll show somewhere else. But yeah, I have a drawing like that in this book as well, that came out really nice. I'm definitely going to make more pieces with this in blue ink, because it's just such a fun art supply to work with. I love it so much. Watering down the ink to fill in the spaces as well just adds a lot more dimension, and it's really a good look. It's really fun. And then I move on to filling out this tiny space underneath this hawk that I drew with a koi fish. I absolutely love koi fish. They're so gorgeous. So yeah, he's just a little guy just filling out this little space, and I think it also fills out the space very nicely, and everything ends up getting tied together almost thematically. Like, it's almost like a completely like Japanese themed spread. This was sort of unintentional, it just kind of ended up that way, but yeah, it turns out really nice. I just wanted a satisfying spread, and I think it's really fun. The only thing about dip pens as well is that sometimes the ink stops flowing, so I do have a sheet of paper off to the side that if I can't get the ink to flow, then I have a sheet, like a scrap sheet on the side to get it started, and then I'll move back to my main sketchbook page. So if you see my hand fly off the screen, that's what I'm doing. Just trying to get the ink started. Yeah, and then the final little finishing touch for this corner of the page that I drew the Tonto knife on is just a little teapot. I actually struggled a lot with this teapot, weirdly, over all the other things I drew. Like, this teapot was the thing that I was like, the shape looks weird. But you know, whatever. It still ends up looking pretty cute. And it's just a little sketchbook spread, so I wasn't really that worried about it. But I find that usually when I'm getting tired in that current drawing session, the last thing I draw tends to be a little bit iffy. Like, I struggle the most when I get tired, which, you know, sounds obvious, but sometimes I have to remind myself that, like, yeah, you can get tired when doing art. And it's good to take breaks, because I have a habit of locking in and just getting like extremely focused on whatever I'm doing that I don't realize that I've been sitting for like 2 hours. It's a good habit to get up like maybe every 45 minutes to an hour and like stretch. So make sure to do that. Do as I say, not as I do. But yeah, this teapot was really cute. Honestly, when I add the color, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks really nice. This is just such a lovely blue, honestly. I think that's why I like it. Like, no matter what I drew, like, the blue just ties everything together, and it's almost like a hack. Like, even though the teapot looks a little wonky, I'm like, when I add the color, it almost doesn't matter because it's just such a nice shade. It's just such a nice shade of blue. So I'm a fan of it. I think it's very cute. I'd like to get more colors of this ink as well. I think that would be really fun. So yeah, this is the finished spread. I think it's really cute and I love how it turned out. My favorites are probably the knife and then the koi fish. They came out really adorable, honestly. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me and this video. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.